All right, Leah, thank you for coming in today. I hope it was a good drive in. Are you feeling good?
Yeah, today's a good day.
Good, okay. So I know that you had a referral over with us. I just wanted to clarify and confirm with you. So, what is it that brought you in today?
Yeah, I've been struggling with some motivation, you know, to work towards some goals that I've, set for myself, and I was like hoping that I could get some help with that.
Okay, well, that's great. It sounds like you're already on a significant course towards really wanting to achieve those goals. Is there anything in particular you feel like or what do you feel like you're struggling with motivation wise?
So for me, I really want to walk more.
Okay.
As I'm aging, I hit my 40s, and so my health has been a priority, and I've wanted to walk more. It's healthy for your joints, and good to get outside and just kind of have that change of scenery. But where I'm struggling is I have a senior dog, and she has arthritis, and we used to walk together. So now I have to walk without her. And so that's kind of where I've been struggling because I feel guilty leaving her. But then there's some days that maybe I might go and do Pilates and I think, oh, I don't need to walk today. I did Pilates. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to try to make this a part of my daily routine.
Yeah.
And I think I struggle with inconsistency. I think sometimes I lack the motivation, and I, want it to be a part of something I do all year long and just a part of my routine I don't really have to think about.
Gotcha. So just to kind of summarize a little bit, there you had a healthy exercise regimen before
Mm-hmm.
that you were able to do. You find that that's very important for you as you enjoy the walk.
Mm-hmm.
It's something comforting, but you also recognize that it's something beneficial for you as you're continuing to grow. You would not want that to continue as part of your regimen, as part of your life. And you had a good reasoning before, but that kind of is starting to decline a little bit with your dog getting older, that your dog's not able to go out on the same level of walks. So, if you were to describe your anxiety currently about leaving your dog when you go on a walk, like what level would you say? What level would that put you at typically?
I think it's more guilt than anxiety,
Okay.
because I think she knows I'm going for a walk
So if you were to,
without her. Like, it
yeah,
sounds silly, but she loves to be outside and she loves walks.
no, it sounds like you're very connected with your dog. So if you were to put that feeling of guilt on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel like when you go on these walks without your dog, where would that be at?
Probably at an 8.
Is that an 8?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you were to think in your head, in terms of what a 6 would look like, any ideas how that might be different? What that would
Mm.
look like for you if that level was there?
I think I think she probably doesn't think about it like I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm so focused on it because she's aging.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not be so much about the walks themselves, but me wrapping my head around the aging dog.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I just have to do it, right? And then as the more I do it, my anxiety level should come down,
Yeah, so just
or my
engaging and
guilt. Yeah.
recognizing, rationalizing that it's okay for you to go on a walk and your dog is going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with your dog outside of going on walks?
Well, we like to sit on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
She's very nosy. She likes to be outside, and so we sit outside for an hour or so a day throughout the day, different increments of time, or she goes on my balcony. But I've been thinking about getting her a wagon that I can maybe take her on these longer walks. So when she starts struggling with her walking, she can ride in the wagon. But then I get nervous. Um, People are gonna be like, "Why is she pulling her dog in a wagon?" I don't know.
So there's some feelings of now anxiety in embracing
Maybe.
that. Okay. I think that's great, by the way, that you have such a strong care for your dog that you would be open to engaging with these other concepts of how to keep your dog as part of it. Clearly, that's a very important factor as part of this is retaining that relationship and keeping with that. I think we can definitely talk about that anxiety. I think you've got some really solid plans already for how to engage with that exercise. I think a big factor to potentially address would be a little bit more of that anxiety. So when you think about the idea of this stroller, this wagon, what level would you describe your anxiety at there from 1 to 10? If you were to picture that you go on that walk right now.
Maybe a 6. And I think some of it stems from, like, it's like, okay, well, she's officially, like, elderly, you know, or a senior, or having health issues, or people, you know.
So there's a little bit of that so there's a little bit of that anxiety that's still related to not necessarily other perception, but the recognition that your dog's getting older.
I mean, I think they'll think she looks really cute in the wagon, though. But I do have anxiety because I'm like, you know, I think about it too much, and I probably just need to do it. She might even hate it, so I could be spending all this time stressing about getting her a wagon, and she could just hate it. But I have started going on some longer walks without her, and what I've done is I take her for a short walk, and then I go do my long walk, and then I don't feel as guilty.
So you're mentioning that there is a possibility that this might not even be something that your dog wants to do, that you're spending a lot of time worrying about.
She might not like it.
Yeah, okay. So going back to that anxiety and talking about that, if you're thinking about it having an anxiety level, what do you think comes to mind to help mitigate that anxiety? Whether that's, I know at first we were talking about perception, but it also sounds like acknowledging your dog's aging. What are there any things that what comes to mind for how you can kind of push back on that that anxiety?
I think I need to look at it as I look at aging for humans as a privilege, and she's had a good life, and I think I need to stop thinking about the end, because she's still healthy, you know. I just love her so much, and you know, so it's just hard because I know I've lost a dog before, so I know. And so I think, like, oh, if I go and do things without her, sometimes I feel a little guilty, but then when I'm in the moment of doing those things, I might not feel the guilt. So maybe it's some of the anxiety leading up to doing them.
So it sounds like while you're in that process, you give yourself a lot of credit for the good dog mom that you are engaging with your dog. And it also sounds like you're acknowledging the good work that you've done in giving your dog such a long life. That yeah, I mean, what you're saying is true. These are good problems of a dog was able to have a long life, and now we have to kind of adjust for some of these capacities. Okay, yeah, I think that the big factor, it sounds like, based on our conversation, we've started with a conversation about exercise, and we're starting to realize there's some anxiety of moving away from dog, but there's also a lot of anxiety with dog growing older. And it sounds like you've got some good ideas to, you know, tackle those thoughts of anxiety in your head. If we were to look at the coming week, what would you do, or how could you kind of start to implement some of this conversation today? How do you think that you could tackle some of these thoughts internally?
I think, you know, what I could probably do this week is start giving myself maybe 3 days where I go on my long walks without her and get used to that feeling, and then maybe stick with that for a few weeks, and then maybe go to 4 or go to, you know, 5, and just kind of bump it up. And then, you know, if I wanted to, I could maybe try to get her a wagon, or wait until the spring time and just keep doing my shorter walks with her.
So focus a little bit more on that first part of the conversation, that
doing
prioritize my exercise that's been diminishing a little bit over the time.
Yeah, and so while I can take her on her short walks, I can still do my long walks, and maybe just separate, because I used to always think walking was always with a dog, and so I maybe separate that thought process first, and then, you know.
Yeah, how that's great to, you know, still have that prioritization for yourself. You know, this is a conversation where there's a lot of concrete skills going on of, I want to care for my animal, but I also need to care for myself. That's great that you kind of circle back on that. in terms of that anxiety, how do you think you might address that in the coming weeks? Talking about
Medication? No, just kidding.
well, that's certainly an option. Like I said, this came from a referral from your doctor. We can definitely put that in our notes to include that as a conversation you want to have. That's definitely that is a very reasonable conversation to be had.
Yeah, I think I just need to get out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anxiety is worrying about things that haven't happened yet or might not happen, and I think I just need to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're recognizing the validity of just focusing on spending time with your dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, making every moment count that I can. Yep.
Great. Well, I mean, our session's coming to a close right now, but it sounds like we've got a good concrete plan of some personalized exercise is going to be the priority this week. And then also trying to focus outside of our heads a little bit more with engaging with these thoughts of anxiety that might come up throughout the week about your dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming in today, and we can definitely talk about this more in the future.
Okay. Thanks.